Hello and welcome to the sixth video in this series, making simple Flappy Robin for the iPhone and iPad using Cocos2d. So I've added in intro scene.m already a screen size, CG size here, just getting the size of the screen in points from the director, because we'll be needing it. And what I want to do first is, underneath the add child for the robin here, adding the robin to the scene, I want to just initialize the robin with the screen size dot height, so it knows where the top of the screen is. And now something interesting, you'll see here that in the CC log here, as well as the box, I've actually added in the position of the robin using NSString from CG point here. And the reason is if I just run the application now, and importantly, if you look down in the console, you see that the position of the robin is 0.3 by 0.5, and that's because we're in normalized positions here. So effectively a percentage from 0 to 1 or 0 to 100, if you think of it like that, or where 0.5 is halfway, telling us how far and how up the screen. However, later on we're going to need to actually know specifically points wise on the screen where the robin is. So I actually want to change this to CC position type points, and now we'll make this robin start x multiplied by the screen size dot width and the 0.5 multiplied by the screen size dot height. Now, if you may have seen that I already loaded this video up and then deleted it from playlist, so I'm being completely honest here and saying I forgot about this, did this video, went on to the next video to get the robin jumping up and down, and then realised that I hadn't got any coordinates to work with. So I've changed this around now, and if I just run the application again, you'll see that the robin's in the same position on the screen, but now we have its position actually in the points on the screen correctly. So now we've got that out of the way, this is the first really of sort of two videos. This one is going to get our update loop working, so our game update 60 times a second is the target, and also detecting our touches. So the first thing I want to do is make a couple of variables. I'm going to make one called a float, and I'm going to make it call it floor y. And this will be set to the lowest y that the robin is allowed to go. And we'll set this just below the floor sprite here, and it will be set to, oops, I need an underscore there. I was wondering why the IntelliSense wasn't working. So our floor sprite dot bounding box dot size and then dot height divided by 2. So this will be halfway. If it goes below into the bottom half of the floor, the robin, then it dies. It's classed as hitting the floor. And the other thing I want to do, or another couple actually, is I want a bool called game started, and I also want another float called game time, which is the time the game has been running. And this is just to show the update function working. So we'll just go down to the bottom of the initialize here. I'll set game time equal to 0, and I'll set game started equal to no. Now the game started no won't actually stay here, but later on we'll be changing some of the logic and stuff like that, but for now, so we can show something in the next video, we'll leave it there. Now for our update function, which gets called a target of 60 times a second, we simply need to override this. So we've got an update with our delta that's passed in, which is, I think CC time is just a float, so decimal precision, and 1.0 is 1 second. And what we can say is we can say our game time then plus equals, not multiply by equals, plus equals our delta, and then we'll just log to the screen now then the game time. So we'll say total time, or total tome in this case, percentage point, let's make it 0.2f, and then the delta for this particular frame, then we'll also make a 0.3f, and then I have game time and delta. Okay, so if I just stop messing around and just run this application now, and what we should have down in the console then is the total time and the delta for each frame being updated here. Now you notice here that the frames per second, this bottom number here is the frames per second, is jumping all over the place. Well, two reasons. One, I'm recording obviously at the same time, which hurts the computer a little bit, and two, the simulator bears really no performance resemblance to the actual device. And in fact the application itself runs on Android on almost all devices. I tried it on some very old slow devices and it ran okay, so I've really no performance worries at all on the iPhone, because it the iPhone, iPad run extremely quickly and are extremely powerful. So that's our update running then, and running up to 60 times a second on your device. It should indeed be. And now all we need to do is look at the touches. It actually works very easily. We simply need to say at the bottom of the initialization here, self and user interaction enabled equals yes. And now we need to just override a couple of functions to get the touches from the screen when we touch them. So one of them is called touch began, and in fact that's the only one will be needed. So it's called CC, or is it? No, that's the Cocos2d. It's called touch began, like so. And all we need to do is take this UI touch, and that has a function in the touch. The touch class contains a function which gives us, in terms of points on our screen, the location of the touch. So we say CG point and then touch location equals, and then we can say touch and location in node and then self, and this will give us then the location of this touch in points. So if I just go cc log and then just put touch location and percentage and the @ and then we want ns string from CG point and then our touch location, tell us where we've touched the screen. So that's all we need to do actually to have touches enabled. So if I just run the application again, okay, I'll stop the application and turn off this logging here of the update and run it again, otherwise we won't actually see anything on the screen. Okay, and now you can see I'm touching on the screen. If I go to the top right hand corner, I've got nearly the 320 by 480, the bottom left, and you can see that I'm getting the coordinates back in terms of points rather than pixels on the screen. Good, so that's it then for this video, and in the next video we can actually get on to making the Robin jump and fall. So thanks very much for watching. Comments, questions, criticisms welcome as always on YouTube.